Hello guys, it's Gate of Theories here, and with the release of Spider-Man Far From Home releasing only a couple of weeks ago, I decided to rewatch Spider-Man Into the Spiderverse because it is such an awesome movie, and I wanted to watch a movie all about the multiverse yet again. But then I noticed something at the beginning of the movie, and it said that this is a Sony Pictures animation film. And what I thought was, we have done a whole timeline theory on this YouTube channel about Sony Pictures animation, but it was in 2017, so it was before Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse had even been released yet. So then I thought, hang on a minute, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is made by Sony Pictures Animation, so it must need to go into the Sony Pictures Animation timeline theory. And if you have no idea what on earth that is, that's basically the whole idea of the fact that every single Sony Pictures animation movie is all on one huge timeline because they all belong to the same universe, starting at the beginning and ending at the end. And it's basically like the Pixar theory is the most well-known timeline theory, but we have a whole playlist of timeline theories on this channel. There'll be a link to it down below in the description. And of course, since we've been adding it to the Sony Pictures animation timeline theory, we have to add it to our very own ultimate timeline theory, which is the whole idea of like all of the animated movies from loads of different animated companies are all in one huge massive timeline theory, all fitting in one universe. It is mad. So we're going to try and fit Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse into A, the Sony Pictures animation timeline theory, and B, the ultimate timeline theory today. But before we go any further, you have to make sure that you have seen the Sony Pictures animation timeline theory. Otherwise, this video isn't going to make any sort of sense to any of you. So if you haven't seen that timeline theory, then make sure that you go and check it out by clicking the card up there, which will be a link to our playlist, or there will be a link down below in the description as well. You need to make sure that you have seen it. And if you haven't seen our ultimate timeline theory, then we will leave a link to that playlist as well up there. But before we go any further, just make sure you've clicked the red subscribe button down below and have your notifications turned on. So, the first initial problem of fitting Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse into any of the timeline theories was the problem of what the title actually says the movie is all about. Spider-Man Into the Spiderverse. The whole movie is about different dimensions and different universes, so trying to fit it into one timeline which has one universe in is kind of a struggle, I thought. So we're going to start with how on earth it fits into the Sony Pictures animation timeline theory. And what we're going to do is we're just going to forget all about this whole dimension multiverse thing and forget that there's lots of Spider-Mans in one place and just try and fit the movie into the timeline from the main setting and the main universe of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, which is Miles' universe set in Brooklyn. So what we're doing is we're going to try and add Miles' universe into the timeline theory, and I say it best fits in 6th place, straight after the Emoji Movie. So the way the Sony Animation Studios theory works is that it has two things. It has animals getting smarter and it has technology getting smarter. So the first few movies are all about how animals are getting smarter, and then gradually as you go down through the timeline, you get to start seeing how technology is becoming to get really, really smart with the advancement of humans working this technology. And we first, of course, see that in 4th place with Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, where Flint creates lots and lots of life-changing technology advancements, and it's amazing. And then the movie after that is the Emoji Movie, where they have phones, they've created living things inside the phones. So I thought the best place to fit Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is where the technology is at its highest, which is straight after the Emoji Movie. And the reason for this is because, like I said before, they've literally created a machine where they can jump from different dimensions. They have superheroes flying around, and they have created this whole machine which allows you to jump into the multiverse and jump from one dimension to another, jump from one universe to the next. It's incredible. The machine is so huge. And I did actually notice an Easter egg in Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, which suggests that Miles' timeline takes place inside the Sony Pictures animation timeline theory. And the reason for that is because I actually found Flint's machine, because I'm not going to try and say its name, floating around when they start up the machine, and lots of the different dimensions are coming out. We can see Flint's machine there, so that just proves that Miles' universe is definitely part of this whole big timeline. And as for the different dimensions, I'm just going to guess that every single movie in the Sony Pictures animation timeline theory, every single one of those movies has other versions of it in different dimensions as well. So there's copies of the exact same movie, but just a little difference, like in Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. So that on Earth is how on Earth it fits into the Sony Pictures animation timeline theory. Next is how on Earth Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse fits into the huge ultimate timeline theory. And again, I was tackled with the same problem about how the Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is all about the different dimensions, and we're just talking about one universe here and one timeline, not several different other ones. So I decided to do the exact same thing, which is take it from the setting of the main movie, which is Miles' universe. So we're going to go from where on Earth Miles' universe fits into the ultimate timeline theory, and we're going to go to the section which is smart technology, which has all of the movies where technology is really high and it's getting really advanced. And I thought the best place to add it afterwards is Big Hero 6. So it's going to go straight after Big Hero 6, because in Big Hero 6 we see technology has advanced so much that cities are sort of joining together, and you can make robots and you can make life-changing things really easily. And in Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, like I've already said, they create this huge machine, this really powerful machine that allows you to go into the multiverse and allows you to hop from dimension to dimension. It is incredible, and it makes Big Hero 6's technology look like really crap. So Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse fits straight after Big Hero 6, and I never realized this, but in the smart technology section there is quite a lot of films all about superheroes. Considering we literally just placed Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse after Big Hero 6, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is about Spider-Man, who's a superhero, and Big Hero 6 is about, well, Big Hero 6. They are a group of superheroes. And in this smart technology section, we also have The Incredibles and Incredibles 2. We also have Toy Story in the section, which has, of course, Buzz Lightyear in, so obviously superheroes were around at that time during the timeline theory. So I'm deciding to change the whole name of this section, which is now going to be Smart Technology and Superheroes, because lots of movies involve superheroes. And as for the whole dimension jumping thing, I think it's the exact same as Sony Pictures animation timeline theory, where every single movie in the Ultimate Timeline theory will have another version of it, and we'll have several more versions of it, just in different dimensions. And we can actually add this into our little timeline theory bubble, which is really complicated. I'll have explained it all in the other video because it's too complicated to explain right now. And basically, how it would work is that all the different dimensions would be going on only inside the bubble and not outside the bubble. And if you want to know what on earth the bubble means, it's really complicated to explain. Make sure that you go and check out the Ultimate Timeline Theory. Link to it down below in the description. So guys, that's the end of the video. I hope you have enjoyed it. If you did enjoy it, then please smash that like button down below and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Now, I just really wanted to make this video because I realized while I was watching Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse that we haven't fitted it into our timeline theory, and I was really annoyed at myself because it's Spider-Man. Like, why haven't we added it into the timeline theory yet? So I've made sure that we've added it into the Sony Pictures animation timeline theory and the Ultimate Timeline theory. And if we missed any other animated movies in any of our timeline theories, then make sure that you leave all your thoughts down below in the field section. And any other new timeline theories or new movies or just any sort of like timeline things that you want us to cover here on Gate of Theories, make sure you leave them down below. And if you want to go and check out any of our other timeline theories, because we have loads and loads, we have ones on DreamWorks, Illumination Entertainment, Pixar, N-Wave, Leaka, literally any animated movie company you could think of, we've probably done a timeline theory on it. So if you can find a movie company that we haven't done a timeline theory on it yet, then make sure that you tell us that in the field section down below. And if you want to go and check out all of those other timeline theories, there will be a link to our playlist down below in the description. There will also be a link to the Ultimate Timeline Theory, the huge one, the really complicated one, down there as well. And also, while you're down in the field section, why don't you tell us any more theory ideas you want us to do, whether that's with Marvel, so you want us to do more Spider-Man stuff, maybe some videos on Spider-Man Far From Home, or just any other general ideas you have that you want us to cover on this channel. And while you're down there, you can also put your thoughts down on whether you think we fitted Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse into these timeline theories in the right way. Do you think it should have gone in the places that it went, or do you think it should have been a different way? Make sure that you leave your thoughts on how you believe it should be fitted down below as well. And as always, we've been here on Gate of Theories. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.